Welcome back. It is 1656. In the last one, we have Nathaniel and Hope going to get married. Sella finally accused Temperance of being a witch, so we're going to have an investigation into that. Delilah and Austin have gotten to know each other a bit. Cameron and Elizabeth are doing well in their marriage. Lots of stuff going on. Josiah is now woohooing with Solomon. So this year, we have a few birthdays. So first, Verity Hobard. Come on. Where are my numbers? 4, 8, or 17 for toddlers. She lives. Winona, Thanks, and Thomas all are becoming children. No 13 or 19. Okay. Humphrey, Obadiah, and Rebecca are all becoming adults. They have to get at least, a 2, 6, 11, or 15. They can't get adult part 1. What was that? 2, 6, 11, 15. And there are 3 of them. Okay. 2, 6, 11. Ooh. Number 2. Obadiah. No. Oh my gosh. Okay, and then Sella has to get at least a 9. Which she does. For our townies, it is now 1656. Okay, so Mia and Nicholas Phelps are both becoming elders. Let's roll for how many years they have left. 10 and 17. 10 and 17. Hope Harper is becoming a young adult. I'm just going to let everybody else live. I know I said I might start rolling for them, but I want her to get married. Yona Nokomis is becoming a teenager. Nita Yahtzee is becoming a teenager. And Wamsuda Harper is becoming a toddler. Should I roll for them? I don't know. I really don't have room in my club for all these Sims, so it probably would be better if some of them died, but... Okay, fine. Okay. Hope, young adult. No 3, 9, or 20. She survived. Watch, they're all going to survive anyway. A teenager for Yona, no 7 or 14. Okay, this isn't worth it, is it? Also, Nita. And then Wamsuda is a toddler, no 4, 8, or 17. Well, they all survived anyway, so let's hop into the game. Alrighty, so we're actually going to start in with the Hobart brothers. They, as you know, Isaac has been getting into gambling and kind of schemes with Elias and stuff, and so he has to come and tell Josiah, basically, like, that he lost their house. Like, he gambled it all away, he lost everything for them, and he is going to skip town because he owes some people money and he scammed the wrong people and he's got to get out of there. And so he basically has just upended their lives, right? Like, these two have just lived as brothers, peacefully having a good time. And now they are dealing with the fact that Isaac has just ruined everything for them. So there is that. And of course, Josiah is furious. He is like, I cannot believe that you would do this to us. Like, what am I supposed to do now? Blah, blah, blah. And Isaac just, like, does not care. He's like, look, I got to get out of here. Like, you can come, you can stay. It doesn't really matter. So they get in a fight, obviously. I would get in a fight, too, if I was in this situation. Actually, that's probably not true. But if I was a sim, I would. So... that is the end of that. They have fought, and Isaac will be leaving, and Josiah is like, you know what? I need a drink. Like, I need a drink. I got to get out of here. So Josiah is now going to head out to the bar in just a moment after some people refuse to hang out with him. So, yeah, we're going to send him out to the bar, and last time he did kind of become friends with and get into like a friends with benefits situation with Solomon. So him and Solomon have been, seeing each other, no strings attached, for a little while now. So, good time. And they have been doing that. And so he sees Solomon, and like they have their usual like, oh, you want to go upstairs? Okay, he feels like he needs it right now, right? But then afterwards they get to talking, and he basically tells Solomon everything, like, oh my gosh, my brother, he's done this, he has ruined everything for us, he has ruined my life, like we've lost everything, we're gonna lose the house, just everything. And Solomon feels bad for him, obviously. They're friends now, they're good friends. And so Solomon's like, oh my gosh, that's like terrible. And, keep in mind, Solomon has been living alone for quite some time. Like, yes, he lives next door to the kids and everything, but he's been living alone for some time. And, he's like, you know what, I actually wouldn't mind having a roommate. So he does invite Josiah to move in with him, just his friends still. They're just friends with benefits right now. And so he invites Josiah to move in with him, but he does want to have a conversation with Bernard about it, because the kids are going over to his house all the time and still spending a lot of time with him as their father. And so he just feels like it's the right thing to do to kind of let at least Bernard know, and also talk to the kids about it. They're old enough to understand, but like he wants to just be like, hey, like I got a new person living with me, and that's the deal. So let's just separate these guys. Okay. And then we're going to play our main household. And we're going to invite Solomon over to tell everyone that he has a new roommate. Austin is continuing to do pretty well at the horse riding stuff. We're really enjoying that. Austin has been doing a great job, and he's definitely still an amateur. He's still doing beginner competitions mostly, like a few. Is it intermediate? Is that the next one? Just a few intermediate ones, but he's mostly doing beginner stuff still. Anyway, so Solomon comes over to tell Bernard about how Josiah is moving in with him. And Bernard is kind of like taken aback, if that makes Bernard is surprised, because he just didn't really expect Solomon to, be living with anyone. And he's not worried about the kids or anything, but I think it kind of makes him wonder, like, what's he doing? And he kind of fishes for information. Obviously, Solomon doesn't owe him any explanations at this point, but he's like, oh, like, are you guys together? Like, what's the deal? And Solomon's like, like, it's a situationship. I'm sure they had different words back then to explain, but he's basically like, no, we're not together, but And so Bernard is not mad at Solomon or anything, although they still are not able to get along with each other for some reason. But he's not mad at him, but he does like kind of reflect on himself, because he's like, wow, like Solomon's really doing the thing and like moving on with his life and making new friends and meeting new people. And what am I doing? I'm just home tending to the garden and taking care of the kids. Like, that's all he ever does. And he really doesn't spend a ton of time making other friends and stuff, and all that. Oh my gosh, Obadiah, don't call me. You're going to die this year. But yeah, so Bernard is doing some self-reflection based on the conversation he had with Solomon, because, we have to keep in mind that Bernard had been with Solomon since he was a teenager. I mean, they had been best friends since they were children. So they were everything to each other, and then Margaret got added in, and Margaret was, also a lot to them, but like Solomon was like the love of his life. They were building this family with Margaret, but like she wasn't on the same level as Solomon and in Bernard's like heart. I do think that they both loved her, but like not the same way. Like they both loved Margaret a lot, and I wish she had survived, because I was gonna like have her find real love, and of course she died. But I think that they did love her, and Bernard, I don't know if I know Solomon is gay, but I'd say Bernard is probably like bisexual, or not even bisexual, but like he loved Solomon. Pansexual, is that what that is? I don't know. He loved Solomon, but he didn't mind woohooing with Margaret. It wasn't a hardship. So he might start to explore his options. So he is going to do that as soon as it becomes a socially acceptable time in the morning, and then we get all our chores done. But yeah, so Bernard is thinking about how kind of finding out that Solomon has moved on in a way and has, changed his life and met someone new, and it's kind of making Bernard think like, oh, maybe I should also be trying to change my life and move on and not just, what's he going to do? Just wait for, Austin and Phineas to get married and do their own thing, and then what's left for him? So he really does have to start thinking about what he's going to do in his older years. I mean, he's not an old guy. So we're going to send Austin on another competition. He's doing lots of competitions. Of course, our household is still not making very much money at all, but that's okay. And it is thunderstorming, of course. So here they are. And we're going to do our chores. He's back. And we are going to go out with Bernard. So Bernard is going to head out, and unfortunately it is thunderstorming. Honestly, the rain in Brindleton Bay is insane all the time. That is not actually how much it rains in New England. Isn't that what Brindleton Bay is based off of? That is not how much it rains. So anyway, he's out here. He's having a drink at the bar. Honestly, I was going to have him kind of wander around the dock, maybe go fishing, do some other stuff, but it is thunderstorming out, and I really do not want him to get struck by lightning. So we're going to be spending some time inside. And then what we're going to do is see who comes around, and one person who is going to come around is the lovely Anquit. So she is here. She has, also been doing stuff outside and kind of came in to get away from the thunder and lightning. And so she's just talking to different people, and Bernard is like, okay, like I've had my liquid courage, like I need to talk to some people, and he's talking to a few of the people, and of course they're all townies that I can't let him talk to, but they're talking, and basically he gets to talking with Anqui because she approaches him. See how flirty she is, and he's feeling confident, and I think that it like feels good for him that she came over and was like, hey, like she's flirting with him, and he is flattered 100%. And so he's like, you know what? I said I was going to start meeting new people. I'm going to entertain it. And they're just going to chat and be friendly. And like nothing's going to happen right now. But Bernard is trying to open his horizons and meet some new people and maybe have a few flings of his own. He's not really looking to get married and introduce someone new to their household right now. But he is just enjoying, the attention. And he deserves to do nice things for himself too. He doesn't have to... he doesn't have to just stay at home and take care of the garden and the kids. So he wants to really push himself. He was inspired by Solomon, and now he's, making friends, chatting her up. So that is good for him. And they are just going to kind of talk the night away, and then we will go back home. So actually, the kids are going to be home. Yeah, the kids have gotten home now. So we'll focus on Austin a little bit. So as the kids are getting older, we're actually going to be handling more in our main household for a time. I don't know if that'll be forever because our main household drama ebbs and flows with the ages of the children. So what we have is Austin, getting into his prime, and Phineas also. So Austin is going to head out. Once again, he's always at this ranch area because he, wants to train his horse, and he doesn't have the equipment back at home and everything. Also, a baby is being born. This is born to Rebecca and Dakota, who have moved off and continue to have a good life together. So the baby survives, and its name is Abenaki Waldrick. And so they have had their baby, and they are just going to be happy together and spend that life together. Look at all those kids. Oh my gosh. And so we are going to continue to obviously work on Austin's horse skills and the horse's skills so that we can, get that all going. So Austin is feeling good. Prince is feeling good. And we are going to, go inside probably because it's raining. Of course it's raining. It's still raining. But yeah, I just need him to talk to the horse a little bit. We'll have the teen club start. And, sorry, just got startled by the dog and a squeaky toy. But yeah, so he is practicing his jumping and stuff. And meanwhile, all the kids are inside talking. You can see all the girls sitting here together, chit-chatting. And obviously, everyone wants to be a part of the It Club, the Cool Club, the Regina George is Hope, really. And so they're all chatting, and Delilah is there with them. She is pretty well liked just because she's a nice person and because she, is from the Smith family. And obviously, Hope is being nice to the Smith ladies right now because she's going to marry Nathaniel this year. So she is definitely, trying to gain points with her future husband. And so she's going to talk to Hope and basically be like, look, Hope, I'm giving you some advice. Like, stay away from Austin. He's not cool. His family is weird. Like, everybody says that they're, sinful and all this stuff. And so she's basically telling Delilah, like, I'm giving you advice. Like, you gotta stay away from that. And Delilah basically is like, sometimes people who act the most Puritan are not Puritan at all. So I will see for myself. And Austin, comes in towards the end of that where Delilah is sticking up for him and basically saying she's going to make her own decisions. And he is super turned on by that. Look at how flirty he is. Look at how flirty she is. And they have big crushes on each other now. And it's like, it's happening. It's happening for Austin. He really likes Delilah. He likes that, she's not afraid to be different or to stand up to people, even if they are super powerful in the town. And he is really excited by that and by her and by how lovely she is and how kind she is and how, she was interested in his horse and how she is, kind of more of a free spirit, like free thinker, I guess. Maybe not free spirit, but free thinker. And so they have spent a ton of time flirting, and so they're out in the rain, just the two of them, because nobody else wants to be out in the rain, and the horse, of course. And so then he steals a little smooch, and there it is, their first kiss. So exciting, so excited for Delilah and Austin. They are definitely going to get married. So I am looking forward to that. But for right now, they've just had their first kiss. They're not even dating, but he is really smitten with her, and I love it. So that is really exciting. And the townie has had a baby, and I really need to turn that off. But anyway, we're going to have him continue to practice a bit of his horse riding. Even though sometimes it's boring to like skill grind, those are things that he needs to do in order to get to become a professional level of horse riding. So that is really important to him. And okay, Bernard. Bernard is just going to do all the chores without any clothes on and check in on the coop and the bees. So he is going to do all of that stuff, and then we'll probably head out to another family. So we just have to do that. We actually have a lot to get through today, so that is really something. And so we are going to just send him off to one more competition. And just finishing up with everything here. You really should put on some clothes, but that's okay. We're gonna leave for the day, I think. You're mortified? Yeah, because you walked in and your dad's just dancing in the buff there. Oh, why are you sad? Who died? Anyway, we're going to head out to actually marry off Hope and Nathaniel now. So Hope and Nathaniel are going to get married, and basically, Hope is going to talk to her mom a little bit about it. Her mom is kind of like, well, I don't really know what to do, but her mom has just been super passive her whole life, that she feels like, she has no control over anything anyway. And so, I think it's Susanna. Susanna is just going to make sure that her daughter is thinks she's making the right decision, and Hope obviously does, because she doesn't think things through, even though she felt like her brother Nathaniel tried to to give her some advice, but she doesn't really care. And, she's talking to her mom, and she's talking about how she doesn't want Nathaniel's sisters to move in with them, and how Nathaniel's going to just keep his sisters in the other house away from her because she wants her household to be her household. She's not interested in sharing it or having to take responsibility for anyone else. Like, she'll have the kids, but she's not trying to, get all of his sisters married off and taken care of and everything. And Nathaniel's like, don't worry about it, whatever you want, because she's got 131,000 simoleons in the bank, and Nathaniel is willing to do whatever she wants. So that is where we are there. We're going to start their wedding event so that the two of them can get married. And I'm looking at Obadiah on the family tree because I was like, wait a second, he does have a ton of kids, doesn't he? And he does. Oh my gosh, him and Janice have a ton of small children. Like, there are a lot of, I don't think a single one of them is older than a child. And like, they were supposed to have one more kid, but they didn't have room in their household. And I'm just like so sad for them because they were such a cool family, and I'm just sad. I'm sad. I wanted them to be able to like have their one more late life baby or something, and that's just not going to happen. So unfortunately, Obadiah is going to die while his children are all still very young, and that is really sad. But anyway, in happier news, Nathaniel and Hope are going to get married right now. Neither one of them is actually in our like family. They're not our Sims. Like, they are put on the Townie tracker. A few of those marriages have been happening lately, and I think that's totally fine. We got to keep the Townie families going as well. And I mean, we are related to them through marriage, through some of their like siblings and stuff. And yeah, so they're just having the wedding. We're gonna have the feast now, and it's tame, it's mild, nothing happens. Like, it's just a wedding. It's just a normal wedding where everybody comes and they blow bubbles and they do their vows and they kiss and they walk down the aisle, and except they didn't exchange their vows for some reason, and then they have a feast afterwards, and then they go home and get pregnant. So here is the wedding, and then we're going to just continue on that, and then we're going to start updating things. We need to update the family tree because they are both on it. We need to roll for how many kids they are going to have, and we need to get them all set up. So I do roll the D10 for how many kids will be born to Nathaniel and Hope, and I'm trying to remember now. I think it was two kids. So they're going to have two, and I got her pregnant, but now I'm trying to remember what she was pregnant with. And I think it might have been twins. So she might just only have one pregnancy. I know that, like, technically, according to Morbid's rules, that that's the number of pregnancies that is had by the couple. But we are not playing by that because we already have too many Sims. I just cannot handle the number of Sims that we have, and I don't want to deal with that, so that's what we're doing. And then I just heard a dog sneeze. Bless you. So then they're going to come home and they're doing that. For some reason, it did not register that they got married. We watched them exchange vows and kiss, but for some reason they have not. Also, this is after the patch for the fairies pack has come out, I think. The seasonal game is happening right now, and so a few of my mods are a little outdated, but that's okay. We're also having another baby, but it is the last day of the year, so they are not going to have to roll for the baby. I think it was Elizabeth and Cameron's baby. So I was trying to get these two to woohoo, but it's just not really happening. But anyway, so yes, Charity Anderson has been born, and then we have so you two are fine. That was the only baby they were going to have, I think. And yes, we're going to get her pregnant, and I believe she was pregnant with twins, I think. I don't know. We'll see. I couldn't catch that. It happened too quickly. So that is all we're going to do in this household. And there's actually one more thing that we're going to do this year. I know this video is getting kind of long, and I probably should have made it a little shorter, but we get a lot to get through. And I like having a lot to get through because it means that there's lots of drama happening. And so What we're going to focus on is the Anderson household. So as you know, last year, Sella accused Temperance of being a witch, and Tom has taken over the investigation for that because he felt like Humphrey was not going to be able to be impartial, and he basically convinced everyone that that is true. Not that Humphrey can't be impartial, but that he shouldn't be the one doing the investigation. So Tom took over the investigation into Temperance, and so he's going to invite her over. He wants to talk to her. Obviously, she's in a really tough pickle right now because she is a witch. She is. But she doesn't deserve this. And so let's invite her over wherever she is. Oh, they actually have a little tiny romance bar. Uh-oh. But here she is. Here is Temperance, and we are going to chat with her. And basically, Tom is going to talk to her, and he's giving her the benefit of the doubt because he could tell already that Humphrey wasn't treating her right, and so he definitely has his suspicions that this is a setup already. So it kind of gives Temperance an out to be like, no, I'm not a witch. I don't know what you're talking about. So basically, they talk, and he's like, why is this happening? Why do you think Sella would accuse you of that? And so Temperance does admit to him, like, I was friends with Jacqueline. And she was executed as a witch, but like she was a good person, and it's not her fault. And, I don't think that just because she was a witch that she was a bad person. And Tom is kind of like, he doesn't necessarily think that because she's a witch, she's a bad person, but he thinks she probably needed to be rehabilitated. Oh, also someone told me, now I can't remember who, I'm so sorry, that I guess Sella wouldn't have been really welcome in the town because there are no nuns in Puritan life. So I guess that's another reason Humphrey wouldn't want to actually marry her, and that she would be kind of separate from everybody. And she's trying to improve her image by running the orphanage. But anyway, so Temperance is going to talk to Tom about why she thinks that Sella is doing all this, and she brings up her past with Sella and how Sella tried to steal her husband from her, or like her fiance from her a long time ago, and how, that all turned out a total mess, and how Sella was a menace and got sent away. And Tom is kind of seeing now what kind of person Sella is, and, is basically like, she's trying to take your husband, so that's what you're telling me. Like, he's understanding. Tom is a really smart guy, and he definitely sees manipulations where they are, and he definitely is on Temperance's side, even though technically she is a witch. But he definitely did not trust Humphrey, and did not trust Humphrey. Like, he could tell that guy was fake, and so he is starting to unravel the potential reasons as to why this could all be happening to Temperance. So then we're going to do birthdays. Let's get this very long video finished by talking about birthdays. We have Verity Hobart becoming a toddler, Winona Waldrick becoming a child, Thanks Hobart becoming a child, Thomas Dubois becoming a child, Obadiah Hobart passing away, Hope Smith now becoming a young adult, Yona Nokomis becoming a teenager, Nita Yazi becoming a teenager, Wamsuda Harper becoming a toddler, and Abenaki Waldrick becoming an infant and being born. And then there was another baby born, Charity, but she's not aging up into an infant or anything, so don't worry about her yet. We'll worry about her next year. Unfortunately, next year we do have the measles. The measles will be spreading next year, which is very scary. But actually, I don't think we even have to roll for our main household because only babies, toddlers, children, and pregnant Sims are going to be rolled for. So very scary for that vulnerable population, but, Austin will be fine. So I will see you guys for that in the next one.